Most people never think of this, but it's super important. If you got hit by a bus today, would your family be able to access your phone? Would they be able to access the bank accounts and the other important accounts that they would need to continue to live their lives and to access the financial and the other information that they would need to wrap things up? Unfortunately, the answer for most people is no, because it's one of the most overlooked things in their estate plans. What happens if you die? And I've seen people spend tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys and very advanced plans, but not address this. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can share with your family how to access your smartphone, whether that's an Apple phone, a Google phone, and then also how they can access all your passwords. So let's jump in. Let's first talk about Apple. And before we go there, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Chapter. They are a Medicare advisor. More on Chapter later. Okay, so let's start with Apple. And we're going to start with Apple support. And you can either go online, I'm going to go through the steps with you here, or you can visit a person at an Apple store and have them show you how to do this. For Apple, it's called How to Add a Legacy Contact for Your Apple Account. And Apple defines a legacy contact as someone you choose to have access to the data in your Apple account after your death. And you can learn about the information that's shared with your legacy contact and how to add one or more legacy contacts. You can just do a quick Google search on this, but I'm going to go through the basics. Your legacy contact can be anyone you choose, and you can designate more than one legacy contact. They don't even need an Apple account or an Apple device. Okay, to file an access request after you pass away, they're going to need the access key that you generate through this process, and they're also going to need your death certificate. Your legacy contact has access to your data for a limited time. This is really important. It's 3 years from when your first legacy account request is approved. So if you got hit by a bus, one of these legacy contacts would have to reach out to Apple and say, hey, my spouse passed away, one of my parents passed away, and I'd like to get the photos off of their phone. I'd like to get access to information that's on their phone, some of their passwords. Apple goes on to say, please note that if you have more than one legacy contact, any one of them can individually make decisions about your account data after your death, including permanently deleting it. So the first person that contacts Apple could actually delete everything. So you want to choose who you give access to, obviously, carefully. Okay, here's how Apple says to add a legacy contact for your Apple account. On your iPhone or iPad, you go to your settings, then you tap your name, then you tap sign in and security, and then you tap legacy contact. Step 3 is to add a legacy contact. You might be asked to authenticate through Face ID, Touch ID, or your device's passcode. Okay, you can also do this on the Mac. To do it on your Mac, you would choose the Apple menu. You'd go to System Settings, you'd click your name, you'd click Sign In and Security, and then click Legacy Contact, and then you'd add that contact. So it's pretty straightforward to do this. It's super important. Now, what about for your Google passwords? What about for your Google account, your Google phone? We're going to get there, but before we do, I want to chat with you about not just making good decisions with your data, but also making good decisions about what are likely going to be some of your biggest expenses as you get older and as you retire. Fidelity tells us even at age 65, the average person is looking at, even with Medicare, $165,000 in out-of-pocket costs above and beyond what Medicare is going to cover. So making good decisions is important, and that's why I'm proud to partner with today's sponsor. It's Chapter. You can reach Chapter at this phone number. You can also reach them at this QR code over here. Also, one of the founders of Chapter, a gentleman by the name of Ari Parker, wrote an excellent book. The book's called It's Not That Complicated, and you can get that book for free by scanning this code here and taking a quick quiz on Medicare and just testing your knowledge on Medicare. Thank you, Chapter, for partnering with me. I'm proud to have them sponsoring this video. Okay, let's go back to Google. And how do you do this with a Google account? And then we're gonna talk about passwords. What do we do for all of our passwords? So Google, you go to Google Account Help, and what you're looking for there is inactive account manager. And with an inactive account manager, Google goes on to say, plan what happens to your data if you can't use your Google account anymore. Decide when Google should consider your account to be inactive and what we do with your data afterwards. You can share it with somebody you trust or ask Google to delete it. So that's what you want to look up, inactive account manager. Now, what about all your other passwords? What about your passwords that you use to access your bank or, any other sensitive information, your photos? How do you make sure that your family has access to that? Because it's super important that they get to maintain access to that. And the way you do that, one way I should say, is by using a password manager. And using a password manager is super important because in today's world, frankly, way too many of us 50 and older are still reusing passwords for multiple sites. And if you're reusing passwords for your email, for your financial accounts, maybe your taxable account, your 401k at work, and maybe your IRA at a custodian or your stock trading account, if you are reusing passwords, you're putting yourself at huge risk. So I think you should have a password manager above and beyond what happens after you pass away. But one of the nice things is using a password manager, and I believe most of the major companies allow you to do this. Using a password manager, you can give somebody access to your account and say, hey, if this person reaches out to you, if this person reaches out to your password manager firm and says, hey, so and so passed away, I'd like to get access. If they're on the list, you can set it up where they will send you, as the user, as the primary account holder, they'll send you something saying, hey, your spouse or your child has asked for access to your passwords. And you can choose. You can say, wait 14 days, wait 7 days, whatever the period of time is, and they will send you a message, and then you have that period of time to say, "No, actually, I haven't passed away. Don't give this person access." Or if they don't hear from you after a period of time, then they will go ahead and give access, to that account. So a password manager is super important. Again, I want to thank Chapter for sponsoring today's video. You can reach Chapter to help you make good decisions when it comes to Medicare, which is our healthcare costs as we get older, even once we're on Medicare, is going to be for many of us one of the biggest expenses in retirement. So you want to make sure you've got the basics there. You can also get an excellent book. You can read it in under an hour. It's called It's Not That Complicated. You can get it for free here. And then finally, I want to encourage you to watch this next video here. The YouTube algorithm says this is the next best video of mine for you to watch next, specifically for you. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.